All right. Good afternoon. You okay, Tulani? I'm just waiting for some other person when they come and let me in. Okay. Today is Wednesday and 12th of July 2023. It's 1 o'clock in UK. What time is it in France? What time do you make? 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So you're ahead of the UK by 1 hour. Yeah. Okay. Right. What we'll be talking today is we'll be looking at the operations management LO2, which is learning outcome number 2, to understand processes, systems, and planning methods used in operations management. Right. Do you know anything about these processes, Thulani? Do you know anything about the systems or planning methods that we use in operations management? Any ideas?
No.
No?
Yeah.
How come the voice has gone down a little bit?
Sorry?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, okay. All right, okay. So do you know any processes? Do you know any systems that we can use or we use in planning in operations management? Anything that you know of?
The process types, like
Mm-hmm.
I have not, so I can read
All
this.
right. Okay, fine. Not to worry. Okay. What we'll be covering today is we'll be looking at the principles of systems and process design. So the typical content of the LO2 would include processes and product innovation. It'll include some kind of logistic and supply chain management. It'll look at the resources. It'll look at the effective use of resource planning, for example, or it'll look at the application of technology. We'll cover some kind of relationship with the suppliers and logistic providers. It'll look at some kind of supply chain management, kind of forecasting, planning, or demand management, and other kind of systems that we can utilize in the operations management for for the travel and tourism industry. Okay, so what we'll start off quickly. We'll start off with what is the processes involved in the operations management. Now, the operations management, there are a lot of processes in operations management. Now, what we mean by processes is the reference to a set of activities, right? They are interrelated activities. These are the tasks that are performed in order to transform, as we talked yesterday, input and process and output. Yeah. So these are the continuous processes. These are the activities that follow one another in order to turn the input into processes and then into finished goods or finished output. Okay, so these processes do form a crucial part of operations management in order to deliver goods and services to customers, right? They're very important so that they continue in a particular fashion. They continue, so the chain is not broken. As we said yesterday, if the chain breaks, then there's a problem. Okay, and then we need to repair that chain. We need to get into the again, we need to mend the chain in, when it breaks down. So the processes there are different processes. There are different processes. There are different types of processes in operations management. For example, like you have maintenance processes, you've got the service processes, you've got the manufacturing or quality circles or quality processes. So there are different types of processes that are used in operations management, right? What are the systems? So having said about processes, we need to look at what are the systems. Now the systems are kind of, these are the for example, machinery, or these are the, you know, components or hardware, for example, or software, you know, hardware and software, which help the activities to interconnect them and make sure to deliver the goods and services efficiently, right? So these are the systems that help us to operate those activities, in other words. So for example, when we talk about the systems, we are talking about the kind of you know, hardware and software. So the computer, it can be a computer systems, for example, quality management systems, or quality circles management system, or supply chain systems, or you can talk about the production system, you know, a lean management system, or more project maintenance or project management systems, inventory, stock control, you know, the information systems, you know, the information management system, in other words. So all these systems, there are different systems, and they help, right? They help to interconnect the processes and to deliver. They help us to deliver, interconnect these activities, and help us to deliver products and service in the industry, okay, or in the operations management. Kind of you know, methods in operations management, some kind of methods we can use in there. For example, you know, we can use tactical planning, we can use capacity planning, we can use material MRP, you know, we can we can use a supply chain management, which is SCM, or project techniques, project planning, for example, network analysis, you know, or material requirement planning, you know, MRP, stock control. These are all the planning systems, and we can use those planning tools. Okay, so let's watch this a video about operations management. So just listen carefully. If you want to take any notes, please do so. So let me play this. It's only a short video.
Operations management. In our day-to-day lives, we routinely deal with both physical goods as well as services. But where do these products or services come from? This is where operations management comes into play. Looking closely at the production of such goods, we're able to take a peek inside the black box, which is the production process. Operations management can be defined as the management of the entire process that transfers inputs into outputs. Outputs are said physical goods or services. Inputs can be material, manpower, and machines. Here's an example from the car industry. The material, metal in this case, is supposed to be reshaped by a machine. This machine, a press in our example, is operated by a machine operator. The metal thus becomes, through the transformation process, a finished component, which is assembled on a car as the output of this process. A central aspect of operations management is the improvement of the transformation processes, which can be accomplished by concepts such as total quality management, Kanban, or total productive maintenance.
Okay, so that was a quick video on operations. I think we looked at it yesterday as well, didn't we? Right?
Yeah.
So you remember this. So we turn the inputs, like raw materials. We buy raw materials from the raw material suppliers, from, you know, people who you know, let me. Hello. Ariana, I think she's just joined us. Ariana. Hello. Ariana, you okay? Hello. All right, let me text her. Okay, if she must have joined us. She can't hear.
Hello.
Hello,
Yep.
Ariana.
Yes.
Okay, you are here for us. Okay, can you hear
Yep.
me?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so let's continue. We were talking about the operations management. We were saying that the raw materials are, bought from suppliers. They turn into, you know, they are processed within a factory. For example, if you want to make a car, you get the metal, you process the metal, turn it into a chassis or any other product that you want to, mold the metal into the shape that you want to, and produce it afterwards. It can turn into a car, it can truck into, or any other product that you want. So the process, having done these processes, you can turn these into finished goods. So that's what management, operations management is about. And we want to make sure that these activities, they go on without interruption. Okay. So this is why it's the operations management helps those activities to continue smoothly, to make sure that the operations are done, and to fulfill these production of goods and services. Okay, so today's LO will be looking at processes, systems, planning, methods used in the operations, product planning or production planning. There are a lot of techniques that you can use. One of the techniques is MRP, which is material requirements planning, or maybe JIT, which is just in time, when you need to order some inventory, or EOQ, economic order quantity. You can use that for systems, or to hold the inventory minimum order quantity, right? EOQ, economic order quantity. So they can use in planning. Quality management, you can use TQM, total quality management. TQM, you must have heard this concept of TQM. There is ISO certification, international standards organization, or techniques used by, including Six Sigma or total quality. These are some of the systems, okay, or planning requirement. Supply chain, SC, or SEM, which is supply chain management, or ERP, which is the enterprise requirement planning, or MRP. These are also this materials requirement planning. You can use facilities management planning, or the systems that you can use, for example, CPA, critical path analysis. These techniques help you to locate or design the shortest possible time in which to complete an activity when you are doing project, right? When you're doing projects or similar. Yeah, so it designs, it gives you a critical path with the shortest time. Gantt charts, for example, you can use them, is a pictorial form of a chart which represents you what activities follow the next activity and follow the other activities in order, right? So the Gantt charts can be used as a facilities planning. You can put it on a wall and see what activities follow. These are very useful when we are doing project analysis or project designs, or making buildings. So Gantt charts. Also, you can use other statistical techniques. You can also use Kaizen, for example, lean management systems. Kaizen, one of the methods which is used in process design and improving the processes for providing goods and services. So these can be used, lean management or lean production techniques, or Kaizen. Performance management techniques like a KPI, for example, they can be a useful kind of a technique that you can employ in planning goods and services. Okay, so there are many techniques that you can use. Workforce planning, you can use workforce planning. You can use, for example, linear programming or scheduling, using the software for manpower planning, workforce schedules. You can use strategic sourcing, for example. Strategic sourcing involves a system and it's a fact-based approach for optimizing an organization's supply base and improving the overall value proposition. So look at the it looks at the contracts, it look at the supplier's contract, and negotiation of contracts. Okay, you can use other IT equipment. You can look at the maintenance technology. You can use these systems for operation management, making sure that these are, run smoothly to produce goods and services. So manager must have some understanding of these aspects. So the operations managers must have a thorough understanding for all these systems and production services, so that they can plan their activities without interruption. Okay, so this is very important for the design of a flow of information and flow of activities, so that the industry doesn't suffer. Okay, so these are some of the planning systems that you can use in operations management. Okay, so the administration is very important. Administration of these practices is very important to maximize the efficiency in a business. Okay, now let's look at 2.1, for example. What is 2.1 says? It says explain how these systems, designs, and processes relate to the tourism industry. So you have lots of different systems in place. You have information systems, you have IT systems, you have softwares. How can they be used in the hospitality industry? For example, when you're designing a systems design, the main focus is to create services, to create integrated services, so to make sure that they are delivering specific objectives in the context of tourism, for example, related to your industry, related to your particular field. These systems are there, like information systems or technical infrastructure or operation structure, to support various different functions, such as reservation. For example, when you reserve a hotel accommodation, or when you reserve some rooms, for example, or when you have customer services or inventory stock, if in inventory, when you want to supply, or when you want to order, you want to make sure these systems are working. Financial transactions, for example, payments, wages, payment of invoices, receipts of invoices from guests, and so on. So these are the systems that we have for your tourism or hospitality industry, to make sure that these are run efficiently. These are continuously making sure that they are doing the service, they are doing the job that they intend to. So the systems designs are particularly important. So for example, you have a designing a property management system. This is one of the system that you can have in for integrating desk operations, reservations, housekeeping, billing. We talked about this, to make sure that all the communication between departments are done smoothly and in a particular fashion. Everything's streamlined, everything's run smoothly, right? So you don't have to go ask something from people. You can use a CRM, which is customer relationship management, inventory systems that we talked about up on the first first page or some. So all this systems design is very important, so that the customer experiences operational efficiency, and making sure that the operations are done very smoothly. Okay, the second thing is process design. Now the process design focuses on optimizing the flow of work or workflow and procedures, to make sure that the productivity, to make sure that the resources are used to the maximum, reducing costs, improving quality of service, making sure that these processes, when they are designed for improving operational activities, in particular instances like restaurants, for example, or they involve a continuous flow of information, continuous flow of processes. So such as, for example, you have guests, you have order tracking, you have a food operation or food preparation, and you have a, you need to identify these bottlenecks or inefficiencies. Then if there is a problem, then these systems will, show you where the problems are or where you need improvements to, so that the waiting list, so the waiting time or the timely delivery of food and beverage systems is looked into. So this kind of a process design is a kind of a system that you can use in the hospitality trade, in specifically in a restaurant, for example, in some kind of tour operators. These process design may involve some kind of analyzing the steps involved in designing and executing a tour package, for example. Where's how to maximize the transportation arrangement, or selecting accommodation, or coordinating with various suppliers about, all these other tour operators, making sure that the quality doesn't suffer and the profits, are not affected. So you can use these process design in making sure that these process designs are taken place in the hospitality industry. So in summary, what we've done is 2.1 and 2.2 here. This 2.1, right? We're making sure that the overall system is taken care of, making sure that these provide the right the right process at the right time with the maximum efficiency and reducing costs, making sure that these contribute to the overall objectives of the organization, overall objectives of the your industry or operational efficiency. Okay, so that's the bottom line to it. Okay, so we talked about the systems. Okay, 2.1, it says evaluate the importance of process and product innovation as it applies to tourism industry. Okay, so what we're doing here is evaluating the importance of process and product. Now, in this instance, right, product innovation is something kind of a new thing. For example, innovation helps businesses to stay in competitive edge, to improve, making sure that the innovation is something new, making sure that it's maybe unique, maybe it's different to other people, making sure that innovation is adopting new ways of doing business, so that the competitor is making sure that the competitor is you're better than the competitor, because the customers, of course, all the time they want to look at new things. This involves changes in the way the service is delivered or the service is conducted. It's the process, new methods of delivering or improving the service, or reducing the cost, or enhancing the customer service. Examples on, for example, if you're using an online booking system, how you can make it better, quicker, and making sure that the customer uses this as soon as you launch the system, making sure that it never breaks down, or they can be allowed, the system can be allowed to for guests to check in or use the mobile check-ins or room booking or technology. All these systems, making sure that the housekeeping and other protocols are run smoothly. So these are all process, making sure that these are new methods of booking and new methods of conducting businesses. So that's very important. Number two, right, it enhances efficiency, making sure that these innovations are increasing in efficiency, making sure that they are reducing the time spent on specific tasks. For example, making sure that the quick time is spent on these kind of activities, rather than spending a lot of time on looking for some activities, and that's suffering other other departments, or increases costs of other departments, and then overall the efficiency affects is. Okay, we want to make sure that the system is such that it reduces cost by improving these processes. So the businesses can use cost or reduce costs, making sure that these operational costs are reduced, so that because you've got new ways of working, new methods of working, they are there to increase the efficiency, making sure that your profit never falls or profit increases all the time, because you are using time efficiently, efficient resources, newest technology, newest, so the customer is happy. So the customer improves their rating. So the customer increases their feedback, making sure that the customer enjoys and comes back to you all the time because of loyalty schemes, or because of satisfaction, or because of a positive advantage that they have gained over when you're staying at when they are staying at your particular place in a hotel or something like this. Okay, so these objectives, another objective is to be competitive, i.e. your processes are such that you are different from your competitors in the sense that maybe the service is good, maybe the systems are up and running all the time, or if you need a quick answer to a particular query, you are there to help them quickly solve it. So this is quite important. So the importance of process innovation includes many things, and its objective is to increase, of course, service, increase efficiency, and reduce costs. So when we are looking at the importance of process and product innovation, its basic underlying fact is to improve, okay, increase efficiency and reduce costs, stay competitive, stay ahead of the game, making sure that you provide a good service so the people, those are the guests, keep coming back to you. Okay. Another thing is another important factor about the innovation is it involves meeting the customer expectation, making sure that the customer is happy and they as I said, they come back to you, making sure that they use your services again and again, because maybe you have a personalized service, maybe you have a ready-made answer for these guests. Okay, and because since the you're involved, a lot of people are involved all the time, the tourism industry is constantly changing because it's involved in people contact, and making sure that these innovations help to adopt people's change, people's tastes, people's preferences, people's income requirements, or their making sure that you cater for particular people during difficult times or during easy times, because it's a it's a personal person related business. So once you gain the personal confidence, then of course the business stays good. If you lose the personal touch or personal confidence, then it affects your business. So making sure that the new ways of creating or doing business, furthermore differentiation, or you can use these systems to increase or create new revenue avenues. Maybe you use additional services or additional products, for example, in your tourism or travel. So if you are only a hotel, maybe you can provide additional services, maybe taxi service, maybe a kind of tourist guides, or maybe increase other things, which not only enhances your profitability, but it's a kind of a product differentiation. You are trying to do something in addition to providing one core particular service. Okay, and all the customers will come to you, or most of the customers who stay, they'll find something new in order to stay with you. Okay, so all in all, the 2.1, it says here, 2.1 tackles the importance of process and product innovation, i.e. new ways of doing businesses, new ways of staying ahead of the game, new ways of attracting customers, making sure that these you adapt to the changes, you adapt to the demands, you adapt to the technological advance, making sure that your systems and procedures and policies and are there to meet the tourism, to meet the requirements of the tourism industry. Okay, so all these products, processes, innovation are very crucial for survival of this industry, and not only they offer improved efficiency and profitability, but also they enhance the customer satisfaction, the customer loyalty. And, this is all about the tourism and travel industry is all about keeping the customer happy. Okay. Going on to 2.3, which says, looking at the role and processes of logistics and the supply chain in context of the tourism industry. So what we need to do here is, what is the role and process of logistics, or logistics as some people call it, logistics, which is to do with transportation, movement of goods and services, okay, which is logistics and supply chain management. Now, supply chain management and logistics are very important in the sense that processes need to keep moving. They need to be continuously, on the movement, so to produce goods and services. And let's, imagine how they will work in the industry. So the logistics work in the sense, the logistics and the supply chain management services work in the sense that you have the right products and services at the right time, with the right materials at the right place. For example, the marketing concept, 4 Ps, which is product, price, promotion, and place. Similarly here, you use the logistics, which is the movement of transport and getting the products in, getting the products to the customers, or moving the cost to the lowest possible way. So the supply chain logistics looks at the effective use of buying in goods in bulk. For example, when we have a lot of rooms, we have we need to buy a lot of materials. We need to buy a lot of materials like soap, for example, or towels, or tissue papers, or any what you call them, food materials, all this, cleaning materials. So we want to make sure that when we buy, we should have transportable. We must make sure that these logistics, they use the trucks or whatever transport they use, they supply us in time when we need them, not when we don't need them. Okay. And making sure that we get the discounts, i.e. the cost efficiency. We're making sure we buy in bulk so that we can get our discounts. We get our discounts in the sense of, so that it will give us some cost. Because we are buying in bulk, we are buying in large quantities, we can ask the suppliers to give us some kind of discounts. We want to make sure that they are delivering these goods at a cheaper cost than other competitors. We want to make sure that we can get these supplies when we need them through maybe local suppliers, but at a reduced cost, maybe at a wholesale cost, not a retail prices. Okay, so the supply chain management is important to carry cost efficiency. We can get the services, we can save on transport costs, we can save on bulk buying costs, we can economize, we can make sure that when we pay, we get our discounts. Okay. The other thing is, the role of supply is quality control. We want to make sure that our goods and services, right, have a quality of ingredients. For example, we want to make sure that they are of the right quality, of the right price. For example, because the quality is all about service, all about good service, so that the service or the good quality product depends on our service. If the product is bad and the service is good, but people won't enjoy it, people won't like it. Okay, it doesn't really matter when we get the good and right in time, but if it's not good quality, what's the use? Okay, and then the people or the customers won't come back if the product is rubbish. Okay. Product, we want to make sure also that the inventory management or the stock control, right, when we need to hold goods and services, when we need to hold goods they are there. We want to make sure that the we have a systems in place, we have the software, we have a process of managing the storage and use of goods to ensure that there's enough stock to meet customer demand without holding too much stock, without holding too little stock. So you can use the minimum order quantity or economic order quantity. Remember we told you to use the software, which is the systems of software. We can use economic order quantity or just in time. For example, you use that kind of inventory management system. When you need the part, you don't hold this in your stock, because it will be wasting your energies, i.e. you'll be having storage costs, you'll be having maybe rental costs, you'll be having insurance cost, maybe if it's damaged or obsolescent, i.e. If you hold too much stock of a particular product, it might go out of fashion very quickly, all right? Or it might go out of date. For example, if you're holding food or beverages or drinks or so, they might go out of taste. So you want to hold a particular stock for a particular time. You want to make sure that the stock is held of the right quantity and without wasting, okay? Because it will cost you. If they go out of date, for example, the food or the beverages, then you're going to throw them in the bin. You've lost money, you've lost the profit. So you want to make sure that the inventory system is up to date. Do you understand? So it's the right, you have the right system for the right purpose. Supply chain also, or logistics also involves the distribution of goods and services, movement of goods and services from the supplier to the consumer. You make sure that this the food, in other words, the food that you get from a supplier, the hotel ordering food from a supplier, or the materials that you order from a supplier to the particular hotel rooms is dispersed or supplied in rightly, through the supplier to the customer. Is supplied right in time, okay? Not later or not very early, because if the goods and services, or if the goods are delivered very early, where are you going to hold it, of course? And if they they deliver after when you need it, then it's no point. So making sure that these transport or logistics use the companies that are very reliable, and making sure that the delivery of amenities is done when you need them. Okay, in the context of transportation management, for example, you manage, make sure that these systems, or make sure that these transport management system of distribution is managed rightly. For example, you want to make sure that the transfer of people, takes place at the right time, or making sure that the local transport is reliable, making sure that you look at the destinations or the mode of transport that you need for tourists, so you hold the transport fleet that you require for a particular purpose. Okay, customer relationship management, CRM, customer relationship management, is very important. So making sure that you have a good relationship with your suppliers, making sure that you have a reliability of goods and services, making sure that the prices are negotiated, i.e. discounted prices are negotiated from the suppliers, and the quality of the product is of the right quality, making sure that the storage and distribution and the supply of materials is done rightly. All this is about the process of logistics and supply chain. It's very important. All right, all these toiletries and all these travel agency arrangements and all it all requires planning. It all is connected with the hotel and airlines and the needs and everything else. Procurement is very important, so that everything is connected, because when you need these materials, and they are there for your need, okay, and they're not really wasted. They're not really, or either hold too much stock or too little stock. Okay, this is very important in the sense that it's costly to hold stock, and it's costly to go without stock. Okay, so you try and minimize these wastage. The whole purpose. So therefore, 2.3 says describe the role and processes of logistics. So it's logistics and the supply chain, managing supply chain in the context of tourism industry is very important, because you need materials, you need raw materials, you need materials like toiletries, you need materials like food materials, you need inventories like beddings, and you need other beverages, you need all these amenities, you need all, making sure that your goods and services are delivered at the right time, making sure that they are not overstocked, making sure that you got the right system and without holding too much stock, and making sure that you get suppliers to supply with the minimum of cost, so that will affect your profitability as well. So because otherwise it's it's not right to hold too much stock. You want to make sure that the stock that you have, or the inventory that you have, or things that you want to hold are there for the right purpose, for the right time, and at the right cost. Okay, because otherwise they're as they are critical and very important for the operations of this business, you will lose business without without this. Okay, understand? So this is very crucial. So LO2 briefly looks at these processes. So going back to LO2, we said we were going to do look at processes and systems and planning methods used in the operations management of hospitality trade. So what we talked about today is very quickly, we looked at the principles of systems and processes designs. We looked at the product innovation. For example, you need new things to produce, or new services, new goods and services in the tourism, making sure that you stay ahead of the game or competitive. We looked at we looked at the processes or the systems and processes that are needed for implementing services in operations management in the operations and so on in the industry, tourism industry. We looked at the logistics, we looked at supply chain management in order to look at the efficiency of resources or tourism in tourism industry. You want to make sure that this industry has a continuous running through or process in the developing of new relationships with suppliers, and making sure that the benefits of supply chain management are reaped. Because so all we looked at different technology, we looked at different systems, we looked at different ways of doing businesses. Okay, making sure that all this is implemented into the business of operations management. When we're talking about the making sure that you talk about the operations in the logistics and into the running of the travel and tourism industry. Okay, you can use different software, you can use different planning tools, you can use different systems. We looked at, or we talked about planning, production planning like GIT or material requirement planning. You can use total quality management. We looked at IT, looked at supply system, or material requirement planning, or IT, or critical path analysis. These are some of the techniques that you can use for planning your facilities management and so on. Okay, you can use other techniques like project planning techniques, or CPM, critical path method, or critical path analysis, or Gantt charts to show you pictorially what's the operation that will take less and which operations follow from one to another. Okay, so the process of continuous process. So this is all we want to say on this particular LO, which is pretty straightforward. Okay, and the main objective is to stay competitive. So towards the end of the session, I just like to say that you have lots of different references. You can look up operations management in the hospitality industry by Sanedi, okay, and Dalton, or Hudson and Hudson, customer service in the tourism and hospitality industry, Mill and Slack and Holland. So these are all the references that are available, and if you on the Moodle, you can look up in the Moodle system, okay, or you can go and explore different sources from the internet, okay, making sure that you have access to ebooks and journals. There are different materials uploaded onto the Moodle, your Moodle platform, okay, and you can watch some YouTube videos on operations management. Maybe also look at value chain analysis, which is very important, because they'll give you a kind of idea what is value and what's value chain, how they can be used in the operations management. Okay, so what we've done today is we just looked at the systems and processes. Okay, anything that you want to ask me about, because it's a pretty straightforward lecture, and it's just to look at the processes, systems, or planning tools, and you can research on these further. Okay, any questions or any concerns or anything that you are confused or not sure about what we've talked about today? Is, if you have any, you can type in a question or you can ask. Ariana, Tulani, any of you? Hello?
Hello?
Any question?
No.
Are you pretty clear?
Yeah.
Okay, can you speak up a little bit?
Me? Tulani?
Okay, who am I talking to, Ariana or Tulani?
Tulani.
Tulani. Okay, what about Ariana? Hello, Ariana?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, okay, nice. Any question?
None. I also typed in my answer. I don't have any question.
Okay, thank you very much. That's fine. That's pretty satisfying. Okay. So do apologies for yesterday because I didn't let you in, because maybe I was so busy talking or I didn't really see. So when do you have next lecture? Is it tomorrow or the day or the next week?
Let me check.
I think we have let's see, we have one on the 17th and the 18th, which is Monday and Tuesday next. Is that right?
Yeah.
Next Monday and next Tuesday. So in the meantime, you've got a few days. You can go over your lectures, please, which what we considered yesterday and today. You go over them. You go over the recording. You go over the notes. You research a little bit more. You read, do a bit of reading. And if you have any questions, then you can ask me on Monday or Tuesday when you have, when you have next lecture. All right.
Okay.
So can I say goodbye until next week?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
I'm sorry. Say something.
Have a good day. Bye.
Yes. Thank you very much. Yes, it's a time to say bye for now. 3 o'clock in is it 4 o'clock in France?
Yeah. No.
But you no
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock, right?
Yes.
Yes. We started at 1 o'clock. Yes, so 3 o'clock. Okay. Okay. So speak to you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.